Quickly before today's episode starts, guys, we have a sponsor for today's episode. If you want to sponsor an episode of TheBotTalk, contact me at TheBotTalk on Twitter to discuss more about it. However, the sponsor is North Corp. North Corp is Canada's premier crypto destination for resellers. The North Corp provides sellers with essential tools such as monitors, early links, release information, bot setups, and guides to elevate your reselling game. Within their group, they provide all members with exclusive bots, partnership, and group buys that cannot be found within any other group. On top of that, the North Corp has exclusive features such as their own coded Nike monitors, as well as a Supreme bot, Best Buy bot, spoof browser, and a Gmail activity generator for all your botting needs. The North Corp is deemed the greatest reselling network by many individuals in the Canadian sneaker scene. It is only fitting for you guys to go check them out and experience it for yourself. I will leave all their socials down below. I highly recommend it. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the TheBotTalk. In today's episode, for episode 32, we have a very interesting one. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be good. We have a lot of topics to bring up. There's a very juicy topic within this episode that I do want to mention as well. I secure from Ignite on today's episode. Let's jump straight into it with the first question we ask all our guests on the show. How did you discover reselling?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on the show, first of all. And to answer your first question, I discovered reselling in high school when a buddy of mine was telling me about the new belugas that were coming out. And he showed me an app called Adidas Confirmed, and pretty much I tried to cop those, and I ended up hitting a 9.5, and that's pretty much where I started reselling.
Yeah, that is pretty common within a lot of people that do come on the show. They get recommended from friends. They go ahead and get a couple of shoes with their sizes. They see the aftermarket, and that kind of starts the origin story. However, how did you make the transition to botting?
So around the same time, so it would be around 2016, I saw an ad on some website for Better Nike Bot, and at the time I didn't really know anything about botting. So I did some research, and I ended up buying it. I had no clue how to use the bot, so I pretty much quit, a couple months after, and didn't really go back to it.
Yeah, definitely. In the early days of 2016, BNB and companies along that nature were definitely using advertisements. I feel like not a lot of bots these days do use it. They don't see a need for it because the demand's so high and the market's growing exponentially. Well, back then, those ads were definitely dominant within the community. One thing I did want to ask, what were some of the contributing factors as to why you wanted to continue reselling a bot?
So the community aspect is definitely what interested me in reselling and botting. Personally, money isn't a huge motivator because money comes and goes, but the community is what really made me stay and continue botting and reselling.
Yeah, definitely. Within all the communities that are on Twitter, like I've been through a bunch of them. Obviously, as a kid, I went through the gaming community, then I joined the botting community. This community is one of the most close knit, like everyone kind of knows each other, everyone's aware of each other. And one thing I do like about this community that we're going to probably touch upon in this episode is that everyone's motivated towards creating financial income for themselves. They're all motivated to becoming rich. Well, depending on your definition of rich. However, they're all motivated towards making money and making their lives better, which I find as a very nice thing. However, when you first got into reselling and botting, what were some of the first releases you had a great success on?
The first release I remember having a lot of success on was the semi-frozen yellow zebras. At the time, Shopify bypasses were really popular for manual users, and I was able to cop 5 pairs from that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like exports at the time of releases do contribute a lot towards certain releases, especially with those releases back then. There was a lot of exports to take advantage of, and that obviously led to great success with these shoes. Now, I want to segue into the company you've came here to represent, which is Ignite. It has piqued my interest, and I feel like it's piqued a lot of the viewers' interest and people in the community. However, let's go back right to the beginning. What was the inspiration behind the name Ignite?
So Ignite first started out as an idea, not so much a bot. It was more of just a project that aimed towards redefining the standards of the sneaker community and introducing a different perspective to the community. And to me, the symbol fire really represented what I was trying to do here. And so I sat down with a designer, and we made a couple sketches and came up with a couple ideas on what we want this brand to look like. And that's where we came up with the Ignite logo with, as you can tell, it looks like fire, and in the middle, it's the letter I. And after seeing that logo, it pretty much solidified what we wanted to name the company.
That is quite interesting. There is a lot of origin stories within company names that are very nice to pick apart and go into. As you said, you started on a designer, you went through loads of mock-ups. I did a similar thing to the Bot Talk. Loads of people that created these companies, these big companies we know in the community, did a similar thing with designers. They tried to create a good origin story. However, one thing you did say in your answer there, your original intention was to create a new standard within the botting community. You weren't focused on creating a bot. So how did you go from that point to starting a bot company?
So after our original idea of just redefining the standards of the community, I sat down and did more thinking about how we're going to do this. And I was analyzing the bots that were in the industry at the time. And I thought that with our vision as Ignite, we're constantly innovating and providing a new perspective, which introduces new solutions that will enhance user experience and customer satisfaction. And that's the main reason why I wanted to start the company.
Yeah, so essentially you're throwing your hat in the ring, you are trying to create your own spin of it, your own type of innovation towards botting, and I applaud that. I feel like there's loads of bots in the scene right now that kind of copy each other. That is to say that this market is quite saturated. There isn't a lot of variation that is there. However, with Ignite, a lot of people, including myself, can see a different approach there. We can see that it's different, and some people would argue it is better, even though it's in the beta phase right now, which we will touch upon in the episode. However, how were the early days like with Ignite? Obviously, you have to find the right employees, the right developers, and essentially solidify your company.
Yeah, so back in November, where we first started the company, it was super difficult finding the right team that shared the same vision as I did. Going into this project, I had a very set vision. I knew exactly what I wanted to do and accomplish with this company, and I pretty much had to find like-minded individuals that share this commonality. Developers in the community were hard to find at the time, as most of the talented ones were committed to a bot already, or they owned their own bot. So I had to resort into looking outside the community, which I happened to come across a very experienced developer who worked with anti-bot and game hacks for multiple online games. And he pretty much had the experience with automation and human interactions and all that. So he was the start of our company, the first developer, and he brought in a couple of his friends. So the original team was 3 developers, and they were all outside of the community. And the early days were really good. We had a lot of success with Ignite. We came into the scene with a lot of success, but what the public didn't really see was the hardships that we faced behind the scenes. At the time, the developers were getting paid a generous amount of money per month, and they were told to update the bot, continue to build on it, and also maximize the success of the bot. And after seeing the early success from a couple releases, they demanded for a higher pay, which I didn't mind at all. I was actually planning on giving them a pay raise anyways, but the problem was we couldn't find a common ground on what to agree on for their pay raise. I was planning on giving them bonuses and giving them a raised monthly payment. However, they had a different intention. I was asked to give away more than 2/3 of Ignite, something that I've built from scratch, something I've put 10 plus hours a day on for several months. And it felt like I was being pushed away from my own company. And that left a lot of doubt in my mind on the future of Ignite. I didn't want to be a puppet owner. Like, I'm the CEO of Ignite. I didn't want to be controlled by the developers and eventually be pushed out of my own company. So while we were trying to come to a common ground, I was searching for other developers at the time. The 3 original developers were all Golang developers, which is not very common in the sneaker development community. It's pretty hard to find Golang developers that are experienced enough, and also let alone have experience with automation and creating a bot out of it. So I made the decision to change the bot into Node.js, which is a much more common language that's used in the sneaker development community. It would make it a lot easier to find replacements, and it would, just for the long run of the company, it would be much, much better. So while we were transitioning into Node.js, I continued to try talking to the original developers, and they were pretty much set in stone with wanting more than 2/3 of the company, and they wouldn't settle for anything less, claiming that they were the reason of Ignite's success, and I don't really play a big role in it, pretty much. Um, so I made the decision to part ways with them. So we don't have the original development team. We moved on to two Node.js developers that I came across. One is a very talented developer named Fnatic, who shared many of the visions that I had for Ignite, and I noticed had the same passion as I did for the company. The first day, just discussing the brand with him, our goals, and where we're at, you can truly see that he was invested into the company already from day one. And I truly believe we couldn't have selected a better candidate for this position. Alongside Fnatic is another very talented developer named Sack, who plays a very crucial role in the Ignite team. Just like what I saw in Fnatic, I saw that same passion and dedication towards fulfilling this vision that I had for Ignite. And I believe we're moving in the right direction with our current team, and we're also making additions to this development team and looking for more developers that will fit our company culture.
Yeah, that kind of sums up the early days very well. One thing I do want to commend you on is sticking with the project. I feel like a lot of people dip when they face hardships, and within hardships of companies, that kind of does set aside the true entrepreneurs and the people that have a very, very strong vision with their company from the people that are just in it for the money. You are clearly someone that wants to see this company succeed, and I applaud you for that. And talking about the original 3 developers team, I feel like that is a roadblock that you needed. I feel like that roadblock kind of taught you how to be a successful business owner. You know how to maneuver your way through things, and if you think about it, going through that process made you switch to a language of the bot that is more easier to get developers for. So it made your process easier. It overall made the entire workflow of the development of the bot better, and arguably it is better for your company.
I think it's really interesting what you mentioned about the roadblocks and this whole journey that we went through as Ignite. A lot of owners would have given up on the company and moved on from there, but that's not my type of personality. I have a really strong work ethic, and when I set out a goal to achieve, I won't stop until I get there.
Yeah, definitely. Now that we've talked about the early days and kind of established a ground basis, I did want to talk about a little controversy, some would say, that sparked up with your company. And it caught my eye. I reached out to you and said, yo, we should definitely do an episode. We should talk about this. It is a very interesting topic. You agreed to it. I feel like it's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit the viewers. And also, I'd like to see your company succeed. I feel like it's got a bright future. I feel like the best way to do it is to talk about what happened. So essentially, if you guys are in the dark right now, or you don't have a vivid idea, essentially, the community kind of gave an uproar of hate towards Secure's brand, which is Ignite, and there were some potential flaws within the dashboard. Obviously, I'm not a developer, so I don't know the entire basis, but if you can go ahead and talk about what happened and what your reaction was to it.
All right, so shortly after our first release, I heard rumors of a dashboard flaw that allowed license keys to be generated. Immediately, it caught my eye. I got in a call with the whole team to review and check for any security flaws that were claimed. There weren't any. We didn't find any single flaw, and not a single license key has been generated up to this date. So that whole situation was just misinformation. I'd be lying if I said that the uproar of hate didn't affect me. I was very stressed from the situation, and the anxiety eventually just forced me to take a break from social media, which explains why there hasn't been a tweet out from Ignite in the past month, and also why I haven't been on social media. I've been focusing on Ignite and our software. I've been focusing on our user base, and more importantly, I've been focusing on myself.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like different people react to this differently. One thing that the viewers need to keep in mind, I'm just going to speak to this personally because I've kind of dealt with it quite a lot with running the bot talk and running brands with all the bot talk and within this community. When you get received hate, when a CEO, when someone who owns a company gets loads of hate towards their brand, everyone reacts differently. Some people go into a mode where they want to deflect and they want to tweet out and they will call people out and they will defend it. Some people go on the ground and take time away from social media to work on their mental health and stabilize themselves, which sounds like something very similar to what you did. And the reason why is because when a CEO has loads of fire that's, some would say unjustified, some would say unfair in some respects, then they react to it how they react to it. It just depends on the person and they're directly connected with their brand. It's like, I know this is a very big overstatement, but it's like their kid in a way. You know, you want to make sure it's good, you want to make sure it's preserved right. And that links very nicely towards the fact that when you received all that hate, you reacted by coming away from social media, creating a level-headed base for yourself, and then going back to Ignite when the time was right. So yeah, we've talked about your reaction and how you went about handling it mentally as a company and within your employees. However, what was actually the reality of the situation?
So regarding the dashboard, there's something known as a public API key, which is necessary to identify your Firebase project and on the Google server. People mistaken this as a private API key and assumed that they were able to access our information and generate license keys from it, which is not the case at all. I know this wasn't asked, but I do feel the need to also address the XXL webhook that was floating around and the controversy behind that. Back in December, when we were in alpha, one of our developers had a system in place where it pretty much parses the size and checks each size. And we had a function that took the parse information from the site, matched it, and broke down the components. If a component didn't match, we attempted to fill it with presets. And that's where the bug happened, where the parsing of that Excel size bugged out and it fell back to the preset sizes, which we had a typo on. Instead of XL for the preset size, it was XL. It was simply a webhook error, and we have since implemented a completely new system for logging information regarding products and checkout speeds and all that. So starting now, there's going to be a lot more accurate information, and it lowers the chance of an error like this from happening again.
So from your answer, as you guys know, I'm not a developer. I don't understand the entire process. However, I know a lot of the audience will and a lot of people that watch this after the fact will. From your answer, it seems like you've rectified the mistakes. There were minor errors that didn't put the company in huge jeopardy. They weren't groundbreaking mistakes. There were minor errors and you seem to tweak that to make sure your company can go forward. However, when any company receives hate and criticism, whether it's justified or not, the company always adapts. And you've touched upon that a little here. However, I want you to go into full detail about how had your company adapted after the hate it received.
Our company has been making a lot of adaptations to the situation, and we've been working very hard to fulfill all these expectations that the public has of us, and also the high expectations we have for ourselves. We had a couple support staff leave due to the situations, and that isn't holding us back from our mission here. We'll definitely rebound from all this, and what we're doing currently to fix all of this controversy and stuff is, first of all, this podcast. For the past month, I didn't really know how to address the public. Like I said, I took a month off and I spent this month just thinking about how I'm going to come back from this and looking forward to the future of Ignite. And we're just focusing on our software behind the scenes every day. We've had countless all-nighters. We've been focusing mainly on our user base to ensure that we maximize success. So currently we're not, accepting any new users. We just want to make sure that the bot is in the state that we expect it to be before bringing on new users.
Yeah, see, from your answer there, I can already identify the correct steps you had taken. So obviously you want to address this in a public manner. The bot talk is the perfect place to do it at. I'm a very transparent person. I will push you on topics that I feel like that needs to be addressed. This had to be addressed. I know a lot of the viewers would want to know about it, and this was the perfect way for your company to address it. I wanted to talk about it. You've been very transparent with me, and I appreciate that. That was the best way to get everything out here because, like I said earlier in the episode, I do feel like this company will go far. It was just about getting the controversy out there, talking about the actual reality of what happened, how it affected you and the company, how you've adapted to that. But now that we've got all the negatives out of the way, how has the development of the bot been going since then?
So since then, the development has been going pretty good. The first 2 weeks, we had to kind of adjust to the situation while we're, making last minute changes, fixing bugs, and also focusing on our software. We were also bombarded with, hate and all these people messaging us like, what's going on? What's going on? And that was kind of hard to balance both of them. Um, so that definitely affected part of our performance, which is why we, as a team, we decided to take a break from social media just so it can clear our minds and just focus on our current customers and the software altogether. The botting scene, I just want to remind everyone, is continuously changing. And for us, we're starting to get used to the time constraints that come with having a user base. Um, Earlier in alpha, we were able to set our own time schedule. If we wanted to take a week off, we could take that week off without any repercussions. But now with a real user base, we have to push updates out before every release. We have to get bugs fixed. We have to improve, add new sites within a certain time period. And I think we're going the right direction. The past 2 weeks, we made huge progress behind the scenes regarding improvements, bug fixes, and additions of new sites. So we started getting some success. There's still obviously more to optimize and more to fix, but that just comes along the beta stage. We're still early on in the beta stage, and I also want to thank all of our current user base. Without them, none of this would be possible. They've been really helpful in these early stages with helping us identify bugs and allow us to continuously improve our software throughout beta.
Well, that does sound amazing, man. Your company is doing the correct things to adapt to that situation and also become stronger from it and go forward. I'm going to put my prediction in now. I feel like this bot is going to go quite far just from speaking to you from this episode and also how the company is moving in general. It is definitely under good management by yourself, and I feel like that with the development team and yourself on board and all the support members and staff members, it is going to be a very good bot. However, to end off today's episode, what can everyone expect from Ignite going forward?
So moving forward from this whole situation, from Ignite, you can expect us to be a lot more transparent to the public. You'll be informed on the behind the scenes, what's going on, and just updates on where we're at. And hopefully, I'll be able to return to social media very soon after this episode and continuing our journey. This is only the beginning of Ignite. We're only a couple months in, and I know I see a lot of people, quick to judge and quick to jump to the exit scam accusation, but I can assure all you guys that we're here to stay. Our team is really hardworking and dedicated, and with having a team like that, we're going to go really far.
Well, that sounds very exciting, man. You've got some great minds in there. One person that did jump out to me is Hyder, and from speaking to you in DMs, organizing this episode, it seems like that company is in very, very good management and is going to go in very, very good ways. So if you guys are watching this episode right now, you guys want bear access as we advertise. We will be doing a copy drop, and the best part about it is it's absolutely free. You do not have to pay anything. You guys just need to be the fastest to join the Discord invite. So this is going to cut to a clip where I explain the restock, then the restock countdown is going to happen, and then the copy drop will take place. The final thing before we get to that, if you guys want to check out Secure and Ignite, their social will be down below. I heavily suggest it. So guys, welcome to the copy drop part of today's episode. In this part, we're going to be releasing a very limited amount of Ignite beta copies for absolutely free. So essentially, how the copy drop is going to work is it's going to be through a Discord invite. Once you join, you'll be given a key and everything like that. However, the restock part is going to be worked like this. So essentially, I'm going to put an invite on the screen, a Discord invite. It's going to be discord.gg/ then some letters. However, it's going to be missing 2 letters at the end. So essentially, you guys want to put that Discord invite into Discord and wait until the 2 questions come up after the restock countdown. You have to solve those questions. They're going to be general knowledge questions, and the answer to both questions will be a letter. Put that in front of the invite and then go ahead and join the Discord. It's going to be very simple. So once again, just to reiterate, I'm going to give you part of a Discord invite. It's on the screen right now. It's going to be on throughout the countdown as well, and whilst you're answering the questions. And essentially, to finish off the invite, there's 2 letters missing. What you guys do want to do is go ahead and solve those questions. It's going to be a 1 letter answer for both questions, then put that at the end of the invite. Good luck, guys.